deadliest marine disaster in recent U.S. history.
It has been a warm and sunny week for many of us here in the Bay Area, but today we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. Still warm, but cloudy as we gear up for a cold front that's rolling its way in tomorrow. We're going to see showers in the forecast for us tomorrow, heavy rain at times, and luckily it dries up fast. Once we head into Sunday, we're going to warm up, and we're going to continue to see that warm up into next week. But this system that's coming in tomorrow, it's a cold front. It's going to pack its punch when it comes to heavy showers at times, chillier temperatures. All of us are going to be sitting in the upper 50s and lower 60s, for example. But to add to that, we're also going to see gusty conditions just as the system builds its way in. This starts tomorrow morning up in the North Bay around 6 a.m. By 7 a.m. now San Francisco's getting hit with some moderate to heavy rain. You can see that isolated right here in this yellow and orange color, and that continues to sweep to the south down into the Santa Clara Valley into our lunchtime hours as it moves its way off into the Sacramento Valley and up into the Sierra, bringing them plenty of snow right around the corner. They're actually under a winter weather advisory heading into this weekend with wind gusts anywhere up to around 50 miles per hour up in the Sierra. But notice on the back end of this, we start to dry up fast heading into Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. We're going to see a little bit of scattered showers in the forecast, but then sunnier skies on the back end heading into Sunday's forecast. So in total, we're getting close to an inch of rain into communities like Pacifica, actually expected to pass an inch all the way over into Pleasanton. So this is a pretty impressive storm if you ask me. Now, looking at our daytime highs today, you already know tomorrow we're expecting upper 50s and lower 60s, but look at what we have today. It's still warm out there. Yes, cloudy, of course, but off into the East Bay we go. We're expecting upper 70s into this afternoon near Antioch. Just like yesterday, more upper 70s all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. But looking at the next 7 days, we're going to cool down fast just to warm up fast right around the corner. Let's take a look at our map now all the way over into the next 7 days. We see that dip in temperatures tomorrow and then a gradual warm up all the way up into the upper 80s as early as next Thursday for our inland forecast. So a big roller coaster of a change when it comes to our daytime highs, but we will keep you updated with those rainfall totals and of course these temperatures too here in the Weather Center.
You can call it the Bay Area's boomtown. Dublin's population has been increasing so fast, it's come with a lot of growing pains. Well, now it's about to begin a new chapter. That's been a long time coming. Between 2010 and 2020, Dublin was the fastest growing city, not just here in the Bay Area, but the entire state. And new numbers from the state's finance department show that the population was still growing last year. That growth is carried to Dublin's schools, and we talk a lot about the district struggling with declining enrollment, but Dublin Unified is bucking the trend. With nearly 13,000 students, it's practically bursting at the seams. Well, now it's on the verge of opening a brand new Emerald High School to help alleviate some of the stress on Dublin High, which is right across town. It's the first new high school in Alameda County in 15 years, and it's a major upgrade for students and staff, many of whom have been squeezed into portable classrooms. Our Juliet Goodrich got a chance to check out the new campus, and she also met one of the students who had some input in its design.
Fumi Manette is a freshman in high school, class of 2027. She is leading a school rally this particular day, but you might call her somewhat of a short timer here on this Dublin High School campus grounds.
Are you gonna miss this gym?
No, because I've been inside Emerald's gym. It's so much better.
Fumi is talking about the Emerald High Gym across town on the east side of Dublin. It's part of the new $374 million high school set to officially welcome students in the fall. But until then, the portables sit in the back of Dublin High. So Fumi, along with other Emerald High freshmen, have been attending classes on the Dublin High campus all year. Francis Rojas is Emerald High's principal. His temporary office was formerly a science classroom at Dublin High.
This is the portable office here on Dublin High, and it's our humble beginnings of the brand new high schools.
And in just a matter of weeks, the big move.
New office smell. I feel like it's Christmas morning.
The district says between 2010 and 2020, the Dublin Unified School District grew by 92%. A second high school has been decades in the making to ease overcrowding.
Really small footprint, but as you can see, all of our buildings are 2 and 3 stories tall, except for the gymnasium and the locker room.
With a grand student union, lecture hall, science labs, and a 31,000 square foot gymnasium. Phase 2 and 3 are still under construction, and boxes filled with chairs and desks still need unpacked. But the mood right now?
Very exciting. The population has just boomed. As you can see, when you drive through Dublin, there are what used to be empty fields or camp parks are now housing developments.
Not to mention a shorter commute by 25 minutes for some.
If a student is tardy, they can't give the excuse that it was a long commute, right?
Most likely not anymore.
Funded by bond measures, Emerald High broke ground in 2020. Fumi says she's looking forward to walking the brand new halls to class.
Not only is it exciting, it's very surreal.
She was part of the design team.
It's really cool to me because, like, as you can see, this place looks like a college campus.
She also helped pick the school colors.
It's like Dublin. It resembles Dublin. It resembles how green we are. It resembles our scenery.
As for the mascot,
A group of students recommended Erewhons, and I asked them, what is that? And they said, well, we Googled Celtic dragon, and that's what came up. And so that landed on top.
I kind of love it because I love how we can shorten it to arrows.
parent Ann Singh will have 2 children attending Emerald High.
So I'm personally really excited because one of the reasons we moved to Dublin 20 years ago was for the good schools, the community, and so just to finally see this happen has been exciting.
After years of planning and construction, momentum is building.
You look excited.
I am. I really am. Yeah, I love this school already.
Already off to a great start.
Freshmen and sophomores will start on the new Emerald High School campus on August 13th, and the school will add a new grade each year. Once the campus is fully complete, they'll have room for 2,500 students. It's been 2 weeks since anti-war tent encampments started popping up at colleges across the country. The Bay Area is home to a handful of them, the newest one at the campus of the University of San Francisco. Local protests and the response from schools have been peaceful until yesterday. And what could be a sign of rising tension, a fight broke out at the UC Berkeley campus, and it was all caught on video. Armenda Hari takes a look at what happened.
You're getting very close to me. Can you please step out?
Video of the moment a fight broke out on UC Berkeley's campus. The woman who shot this video, who wants to remain anonymous, said in a statement to CBS News Bay Area that she was with a group of pro-Israel students standing across from the Sproul Plaza with an Israeli flag. She says someone grabbed their flag and it led to this fight. She said the incident was terrifying and that some protesters followed their group until they reached the police station. Hamza Mahmoud with UC Berkeley Divest Coalition is part of the campsite. He was there and said the interaction was small and the person who grabbed the Israeli flag was not from the protest.
We mostly didn't engage. We had one person who I've never seen at the camp, none of us knew, who disappeared immediately after. We're not sure who this person is, who just grabbed a flag.
He says the injuries that happened in the scuffle are small compared to what's happening in Gaza.
Bloody nose, and one of our protesters got punched in the eye. 40,000 people have been killed. There are people we're seeing on our phones, people, limbs are gone. So again, I want to re-emphasize, this is not about us.
He says with finals and summer break looming, there's no timeline for how long the camp will stay at Sproul Plaza and that they're taking things day by day. Mahmoud says they're going to continue to demand that UC Berkeley divest from Israel. But UC has put out a statement that the university system as a whole will not do that. And the university's stance on the encampment has not changed.
Despite the fight, no arrests, but the university has increased security for anyone who feels unsafe. They tell us an escort service is available for students who feel unsafe. Recently, Hamas released more propaganda videos of hostages. One of them showed 64-year-old Keith Siegel. He was taken from his home on October 7th, and it's believed that more than 100 hostages remain in Hamas's custody. Meantime, the city of Richmond is taking a stand for Palestinians in Gaza. The council voted this week to divest from companies that do business with Israel, among them Airbnb, Caterpillar, Microsoft, and any companies that develop and manufacture weapons. Richmond has roughly $600 million to make investments. The divestment would only impact about 7% of that. Hayward is the only other Bay Area city that has taken similar measures. Well, stay with us for continuing coverage of what's happening in the Middle East and protests on college campuses. We'll bring you the latest on air on our website, kpix.com, and streaming right here on CBS News Bay Area. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, the battle over plans for a new high-rise apartment complex in the South Bay. It would help with the housing crunch, but some neighbors say it would destroy their privacy. Plus, empty retail spaces filled with pop-ups. How San Jose is hoping for a downtown rebound with a little crystal magic. And there's one spot in California that's famous for its colorful carpet of wildflowers. We're going to check out the spring bloom.
I'm a pilot for the California Army National Guard. I fly Blackhawks here in the state.
There is nothing that Jessica Birch can't do.
She is dedicated. She's super fun.
Jessica is remarkable.
I like the idea of being able to serve the Northern Californian people out doing search and rescues, helping out with CAL FIRE missions. And I also feel like I have a heart for service also when it comes to forecasting for our local area. I mean, getting people prepared for their day. That's a huge importance for me.
Wake up with a morning edition, weekdays on KPIX.
Wrapping up this week, still dry, but a little bit cloudier as the cold fronts right around the corner into our Saturday forecast. It's important to note that this is going to be a heavy storm as we all wake up and head out the door tomorrow morning. Taking a look at our models on Futurecast, advancing the clock all the way into our overnight hours tonight. Really heavy clouds start building their way in just from offshore as we gear up for some heavy rain starting tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. up near Santa Rosa. This storm system will continue to track to the south all throughout the morning hours. Heading into the afternoon hours, it moves off into the Sacramento Valley, still lingering kind of around the Bay Area, but this is going to bring snow to the Sierra, and we dry up fast into the overnight hours tomorrow night, gearing up for sunnier skies by Sunday.
Well, one of the state's biggest challenges has been building enough affordable housing. Building single-family homes just isn't going to cut it anymore. So the community of Los Gatos is trying something new to ease the housing crisis. Many communities are turning to projects with greater density apartments, townhomes, condos, high-rises, but that sometimes leads to clashes with older, established neighborhoods where people don't want a massive high-rise in the middle of their community. As our Devin Feely explains, that's exactly what's unfolding in Los Gatos.
I'm more concerned about the height. It's being proposed at 7 stories. That's pretty tall and out of character for the town of Los Gatos.
Jeff Fox says a high-rise apartment complex would tower over his home and neighborhood.
and offer a bird's-eye view directly into his backyard, leaving him no privacy whatsoever.
I believe in more housing. I believe that we should have more affordable housing, but I do believe that we should try to preserve the character of our neighborhoods.
Fox has lived in this quiet Los Gatos neighborhood for 25 years, and he and many of his neighbors are deeply concerned about the plans to build a 7-story apartment complex on the backside of their homes. According to the application submitted to the town in March, the complex would have 238 apartments, 47 of which would be affordable, or 20%.
I'm really concerned about the privacy for the neighbors on this side of the street.
Carlene Schoenberg has lived on Benedict Lane for 51 years, loves its tree-lined streets and single-family homes, and fears that all of that charm will be dwarfed by the giant complex if it's built.
I think it's a little massive considering that this is supposed to be a town and not a major city.
The developer, Green Valley Corporation, submitted its application under Senate Bill 330, which streamlines the approval process for new housing statewide if a project already meets the city's zoning and design regulations. Neighbors fear that's going to tie the town council's hands, forcing them to greenlight a project that will literally overshadow the homes they've lived in for decades.
It's one thing to be 3 stories, 4 stories, like they built in Campbell, but 7 stories is just way too high.
We did reach out to the mayor and town council in Los Gatos. They sent us an email declining to comment on the issue. In San Francisco, the city is trying something new to bring life back to the downtown area, and it's off to a pretty good start. Hundreds of people gathered last night for the city's first ever First Thursdays event. Several blocks on 2nd Street, south of Market, were shut down to traffic. Instead of cars, the streets were full of food vendors, art, and music. Event organizers were actually inspired by Oakland's First Fridays. Well, this is a welcome sight for the city's business owners.
When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, this would be good. I'm definitely down with it. And it works both ways. So we can actually get our name out there for our business. And then also we're helping the city of San Francisco as far as getting people out in the streets.
Last night's block party was the first of 12. The event is scheduled to continue every month through April of 2025. And just like Oakland inspired San Francisco's First Thursday, San Francisco inspired pop-up programs in San Jose. A group of small women-owned businesses will open up as a part of a larger program to revitalize the city. The concept is to fill empty or underutilized spaces with local entrepreneurs trying to expand their businesses. Sean Chitness has more.
Teresa Chappella believes there is something in the beauty of crystals that will appeal to just about anyone. The success of her business, Bad Witch Crystals, suggests she's onto something.
I feel like it's been a long time coming. I've worked really hard for the last 4, almost 5 years, from my mom's kitchen counter, from my parents' garage, and I'm just so happy that I finally have this storefront with everything.
She's one of the newest businesses opening up on Friday in a section of downtown San Jose that could use a little color and some positive vibes. Her store, along with 2 others, are part of a project from San Jose-based Moment, which specializes in pop-up retail opportunities.
There is nothing like the energy that comes from a small business and a small business maker, especially the ones that we work with in the local Bay Area. We've never seen this type of excitement and enthusiasm towards running their own business.
Moment partnered with the San Jose Downtown Association to fill these retail spaces near San Jose State University, funded by the city.
I felt like it was a perfect opportunity. It's a way for us small businesses to test out our ideas and see if retail will work for us.
Teresa says she knew San Jose was the right place to open her first store because of the community support for small businesses. Despite all the challenges retail shops face around the Bay Area, Teresa is excited to start this new chapter.
I think it's just human nature to be intrigued to something that is shiny and pretty. I don't think it necessarily even matters if you believe in the spiritual or the metaphysical.
A charge to give off good energy to the neighborhood and the economy, one storefront at a time.
Teresa's store, along with other stores, are celebrating their grand opening today along Paseo de San Antonio in downtown San Jose. And tonight in Oakland, the town's Cono district will be buzzing with First Friday festivities. Tonight's festival will only be the second First Friday of the year, after organizers were forced to cancel prior ones due to financial struggles. Tonight's event is also celebrating Latin Pride. From 5 to 9 p.m., there will be food, live music, all to honor Oakland's Latin heritage. Still ahead, it's the epicenter of California's spring bloom, so impressive it can sometimes be seen from space. We take a road trip to see how this year's wildflowers are shaping up. And a reminder, you can stream CBS News Bay Area wherever, whenever. Catch all of our live newscasts, plus news and weather updates throughout the day. Find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV.
Why are more people turning to KPIX Late Night? 2 reasons. Sarah and Steven. The Late News with Sarah Donchie. Then The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Back with all new episodes.
Really?
2 shows you'll want to spend the night with.
Then go to sleep knowing you won at TV. What?
Record it, stream it, watch it live. The Late News and the all-new Late Show. Weeknights starting at 11 on KPIX.
Mix of sun and clouds in the forecast for us today as we gear up for a cold front rolling in early tomorrow morning, starting up in the North Bay just around 6 a.m. So as we time this out, we start to see heavy clouds roll in late tonight just ahead of that initial cold front. Notice the colors on this map. Yellow and orange indicate some heavy showers building in just in the center of that storm line. It continues to sweep to the south into our lunchtime hours close to San Francisco, all throughout the peninsula, heading down into Santa Cruz and the Santa Clara Valley for that matter. It moves off into the Sacramento Valley, and on the back end of it, we dry up pretty fast. But this is an impactful storm. I mean, we're seeing heavy showers pretty much all morning long. It takes a while for the evening hours to really see drying conditions because there's still some lingering showers on the back end. But once we head into Sunday, this completely dissipates, and we are left with drier conditions for our Sunday setup, while the Sierra is still dealing with some snow at that point. So in total, we're expected to see close to around an inch of rain throughout most of our communities, passing an inch all the way over into areas like Pleasanton. Now up into the Sierra we go. They're going to be under a winter weather advisory until Sunday morning, with wind speeds anywhere up to around 50 miles per hour and plenty of snow to share for all of them around.
The late rains this year have allowed people to enjoy spring flowers for weeks after their typical peak in early April. And there's one place that's iconic in California if you want to get your fix of these wildflowers. We're talking about Carrizo Plain National Monument in eastern San Luis Obispo County. Ryan Hackney took us there for this year for this super bloom, and He got back on the road to see how this year's blooms are shaping up.
It's the home of the most natural California blooms, Carrizo Plain National Monument. 270 miles south of San Francisco, not always paved roads, and quite a trip.
Tibor had never come, so...
Are you not a flower man?
Oh, it's just that I've not gotten here.
Tibor Polgar and friend are from the South Bay, and they'd found the perfect place for a picnic on Overlook Hill, which is overlooking Soda Lake, filled to the brim by winter rains. A good excuse for a Flower Fest feast.
Minnesota winter sausage, Hungarian sausage, and then I have some sausage from Minnesota.
You've been coming for how long?
Oh, about 20 years or so. I used to come here all the time for birding in the winter.
Of course, every year is different.
The grasses have gotten really high, so the smaller flowers are a little harder to see. But all you have to do is get out of the car and take a walk on one of the trails, and you can get up close to everything.
The Carrizo bloom may not be quite as robust as last year's.
And this year they seem to be sort of staging, so you get one kind of flower and then another, so there's not just this sweep of orange up to yellow.
But as the Park Service says, the closer you look, the more you'll see.
So it still is a beautiful place, and I don't remember the lake being this full of water. The reflections are just stunning, and the colors are still good, and we've seen almost every flower I was looking for, so I'm happy.
And so is Tibor.
I love coming out to stuff like this. It's just that I've never gotten down here. Okay. And it's pretty sad because it is gorgeous.
But showing for a limited time only, before even the best blooms get baked in the late spring sun of the Carrizo Plain.
The last 3 super bloom years were in 2017, 2019, and 2023. Last year, the area got more than 15 inches of rain. So far this year, it's less than 10 inches. Coming up in our next half hour on CBS News Bay Area, a South Bay man's religion stopped him from eating what he loved. So he cooked up a risky plan, how that gamble changed the food scene. And as we celebrate AAPI Heritage Month, we'll introduce you to the Bay Area's first Miss Chinatown, how she broke barriers more than 60 years ago.
These are your neighborhoods. This is your world. CBS News Bay Area.
And still ahead on KPI.
With Juliette Goodrich. And the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Taking you to the day's top stories. Smart, comprehensive coverage. And immersive weather like you have never seen it. Join Juliette Goodrich and Nora O'Donnell. Weeknights 6 to 7:30 on KPIX.
I'm Nicole Zalumis, and this is The Minute. State and federal agencies are accusing San Francisco of polluting the Bay. A new lawsuit claims the city has repeated and widespread failures in water and sewage systems. The lawsuit seeks financial penalties and compliance to Clean Water Act. Beware of rattlesnakes if you're out hiking, the East Bay Regional Parks District says snakes are emerging from their winter hibernation and becoming more active as the weather heats up. Their advice? Stay on trails and don't hike alone. The Medal of Freedom recipients were revealed today, and among them is former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. It's the nation's highest form of honoring civilians. Former Vice President Al Gore and actress Michelle Yeoh also making the 18 recipients. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 on the all-new Pix Plus 44, Cable 12.
It has been a warm and sunny week for many of us here in the Bay Area, but today we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. Still warm, but cloudy as we gear up for a cold front that's rolling its way in tomorrow. We're going to see showers in the forecast for us tomorrow, heavy rain at times, and luckily it dries up fast. Once we head into Sunday, we're going to warm up, and we're going to continue to see that warm up into next week. But this system that's coming in tomorrow, it's a cold front. It's going to pack its punch when it comes to heavy showers at times, chillier temperatures. All of us are going to be sitting in the upper 50s and lower 60s, for example. But to add to that, we're also going to see gusty conditions just as the system builds its way in. This starts tomorrow morning up in the North Bay around 6 a.m. By 7 a.m. now San Francisco's getting hit with some moderate to heavy rain. You can see that isolated right here in this yellow and orange color, and that continues to sweep to the south down into the Santa Clara Valley into our lunchtime hours as it moves its way off into the Sacramento Valley and up into the Sierra, bringing them plenty of snow right around the corner. They're actually under a winter weather advisory heading into this weekend with wind gusts anywhere up to around 50 miles per hour up in the Sierra. But notice on the back end of this, we start to dry up fast. Heading into Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, we're going to see a little bit of scattered showers in the forecast, but then sunnier skies on the back end heading into Sunday's forecast. So in total, we're getting close to an inch of rain into communities like Pacifica, actually expected to pass an inch all the way over into Pleasanton. So this is a pretty impressive storm if you ask me. Now, looking at our daytime highs today, you already know tomorrow we're expecting upper 50s and lower 60s, but look at what we have today. It's still warm out there. Yes, cloudy, of course, but off into the East Bay we go. We're expecting upper 70s into this afternoon near Antioch. Just like yesterday, more upper 70s all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. But looking at the next 7 days, we're going to cool down fast just to warm up fast right around the corner. Let's take a look at our map now all the way over into the next 7 days. We see that dip in temperatures tomorrow and then a gradual warm up all the way up into the upper 80s as early as next Thursday for our inland forecast. So a big roller coaster of a change when it comes to our daytime highs, but we will keep you updated with those rainfall totals and of course these temperatures too here in the Weather Center.
The South Bay is known for its Mexican cuisine. Now imagine being surrounded by all that food, even working in Mexican restaurants, and not being able to eat it. Our Len Ramirez met one man whose religion made a lot of food off limits, so he bet his life savings on a dream that changed everything.
You can see here that we're making real barbacoa wrapped in the banana leaves with brisket. The flavor from the banana leaf really gives it a nice smokiness to it.
Hisham Abdel Fattah is a Filipino-Palestinian American whose El Halal Amigos restaurant is a melting pot of foods, flavors, and cultures.
My favorite culture to be immersed in was the Mexican culture.
Hisham grew up on San Jose's east side, loving Mexican food.
And my first job at 14 was in a taqueria as a dishwasher and prep cook.
He worked his way through Mexican restaurants, which led to culinary school and then a few more Mexican restaurants. There was just one problem. As Hisham became closer to his Muslim faith, he couldn't eat many Mexican dishes anymore because it wasn't halal, which means permissible in Arabic.
I was going to food trucks and ordering a cheese quesadilla. It was terrible.
So he started experimenting, cooking Mexican food halal style, that is without lard or pork, and he used only ethically raised and slaughtered beef.
A lot of my cooking I did at home to help fill that void. And a lot of my friends, a lot of people were telling me, man, you're really good at this.
When COVID hit and he was thrown out of work, he gambled his savings to start the El Halal Amigos food truck. In 4 years, his food became so popular, it escaped from the street and came indoors to a brick and mortar in San Jose's Willow Glen district.
So getting to a brick and mortar was phase one of battling Chipotle.
It is a success story that came during a tumultuous time for San Jose businesses. While some never survived the pandemic, many have found a way to come back strong, says San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan.
The pandemic was a challenging time for small businesses in San Jose, but when we look over the last 10 years, we've seen net growth in small businesses. San Jose is an incredibly diverse and entrepreneurial city. In fact, we have 66,000 small businesses. We've seen a lot of them hang on and then start to thrive coming out of the pandemic.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan says the last decade has seen the greatest number of businesses launch in San Jose. A third of them are micro businesses with just 2 to 9 employees.
I credit a lot of that to, first and foremost, the just incredible entrepreneurs we have in San Jose and the community that loves to support its neighborhood small businesses. Also the fact, though, that we have prioritized making the city safe and clean as we get back to basics.
The city also offers grants and tax credits for businesses that move into vacant storefronts. And last year, the city launched a small business advisory committee made up of business leaders like Christina Bui.
It's important for the city to hear our needs.
Christina is the advisory committee vice chair and the owner of Love Me Nots, a small bridal and dress shop.
There's so many programs out there that businesses can go towards to help maybe with marketing, social media, and just how to become a better business.
Back at El Halal Amigos, Hisham found partners to help him with one of the top challenges small businesses continue to face, the rising cost of rent and food. The rest is up to him and a core group of employees who have been with him since the beginning.
The week we opened our food truck, I had $40 to my name. I looked at my crew and I was like, all right, guys, I don't know how I'm going to pay you, but we're going to get out here and just do our best. Cook from your heart, the clients will come.
And he's exposing his dishes to new customers every day.
I feel like as a Muslim, it gives me a place to try a lot of good variety of Mexican food, but also not feeling guilty that I'm not having halal meat.
Nar in Arabic means fire.
Hisham is proving that taking a risk, doing the hard work, and having great partners are keys to making it during hard times.
Chili rellenos.
And of course, it helps to have a product that appeals to food lovers of any faith.
The restaurant is planning a celebration for Cinco de Mayo with discounted food, music, and dancers all day long. Police seem to be changing their tune on a Cinco de Mayo tradition in the South Bay. This year, they'll be cruising with lowriders during Sunday's parade. Last year, the department helped close the highway on ramps, which made it hard for people to join in on the festivities. Well, this year, San Jose police will be rolling out in their own lowrider. That's a far cry from the city's decades-long ban on lowriding that they lifted last year. 300 vehicles are expected to participate in this weekend's lowrider parade. As we celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Month, we share some living history. We'd like to introduce you to the Bay Area woman who became the very first Miss Chinatown more than 3/4 of a century ago. 99-year-old Penny Wong was crowned in 1948. Our Sharon Chin met with the San Francisco native and got to see the new crown that she recently received.
She admits she wasn't planning to enter the contest, the Chinese-American version of the Miss America pageant.
One lady came up and asked me, why don't you join them? I said, oh, right. so I did.
She found herself breaking barriers. After all, it was a big deal to parade in a bathing suit when you're not swimming. But she's known for taking chances.
I was surprised that I won. Honest, I was surprised.
For the full story, tune in this evening at 5 on our evening edition on KPIX or streaming right here on CBS News Bay Area. And all month long, we'll feature stories highlighting the culture, history, and issues important to the Bay Area's AAPI community. We're posting all of our stories on our website, kpix.com. Up next, a vegan cheese made right here in the Bay Area got national attention after being booted from a cheese competition that it was supposed to win. We'll hear from an East Bay company for their side of the story.
I would like to see the headlines that the national press picks up on and say, look, there's another side to the Bay Area.
We take those headlines a little step further to sort of connect all these wonderful communities here.
Really embracing the positivity and hopefully spreading it.
The Bay Area is full of some amazing innovative change makers.
People that are out there making a difference.
In fact, I feel privileged that I get to share those stories.
Wake up with the Morning Edition, weekdays on KPIX.
This week still dry, but a little bit cloudier as the cold fronts right around the corner into our Saturday forecast. It's important to note that this is going to be a heavy storm as we all wake up and head out the door tomorrow morning. Taking a look at our models on Futurecast, advancing the clock all the way into our overnight hours tonight. Really heavy clouds start building their way in just from offshore as we gear up for some heavy rain starting tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. up near Santa Rosa. This storm system will continue to track to the south all throughout the morning hours. Heading into the afternoon hours, it moves off into the Sacramento Valley, still lingering kind of around the Bay Area, but this is going to bring snow to the Sierra, and we dry up fast into the overnight hours tomorrow night, gearing up for sunnier skies by Sunday.
It seems like every day there is a new plant-based food product on the shelves, and if you aren't vegan, well, still give these foods a try every now and then. Might seem like some of them have come a long way and are starting to taste a lot like the real thing. And then there's cheese eaters. Dairy eaters who try vegan cheese seem to be less sold on it. But one company in Berkeley seems to have the vegan cheese thing down. So much so that they may have outperformed all the dairy-based submissions in a major competition until their vegan cheese was mysteriously disqualified. Climax Foods is the company in question. So we sent our Andrea Nakano to take a bite alongside a world-famous chef. And while she did, she got the company side of the story about the cheese causing a big stink in the dairy industry.
Climax Foods in Berkeley works to create a tastier, healthier, and kinder cheese. This blue cheese was about to take home the gold.
I got an email in January that we were not just finalists but winners.
But then came a technicality that Climax founder and CEO Oliver Zahn didn't even know about.
Literally a week ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago, they changed their website to say, oh, now it also has to be GRAS certified. And then we were excluded just a week or two before the competition, which is a little bit, I guess, confusing is maybe one way to put it.
GRAS certified translates to generally regarded as safe by the FDA. The ingredient that became the center of the controversy is kokum butter. It comes from the seeds of a kokum tree and is not GRAS certified.
If it would have been a requirement, we could have given them another version of the cheese that uses cocoa butter, which is one of the versions we have.
This controversy has even made the rounds on Late Night with Stephen Colbert, bringing much-needed humor to a disappointing situation.
I loved his way to describe good blue cheese. It has to taste like foot.
Although this cheese is not available for retail yet, it is being used in one of San Francisco's finest restaurants, Atelier Cren. Chef and owner Dominique Cren says she grew up on blue cheese, just like this one in France.
I knew he was going to win because I literally, if I was blind and I couldn't see, and if he give me a test, I will tell him this is an amazing blue cheese.
With Dominique's vote of confidence, I put my taste buds to the test.
I don't know how you did it, but you have the green kind of moldy marbling inside.
The mold grows in the same way as in dairy cheese.
Yeah, and it really does kind of hit you on your palate and the back of the nose when you have it just like a regular blue cheese.
Climax Foods is constantly working to come up with the perfect scientific recipe to create the next best cheese. The goal is to make a product that tastes just as good as dairy cheese at an affordable price. Oliver Zahn doesn't want to fight with the dairy industry, just coexist.
Whatever happened, we were disqualified. I don't want to blame anybody. I just want to offer consumers alternative.
According to Zahn, these cheeses are in restaurants right now, but the goal is to have them available for retail early next year. We reached out to the Good Food Awards for comment, but we haven't heard back. Coming up, efforts underway to save an animal crucial to the state's ecosystem. How bats keep the state growing.
This is Pix Plus. More of what you want, more often. More local news in the morning and the primetime edition. The only 8 and 9 p.m. news. With Devin Peely, Elizabeth Cook, Juliette Goodrich, and Sarah Donchi. Groundbreaking original storytelling from the KPIX newsroom. Plus Bear Politics, Project Earth, and weather like you've never seen. The primetime edition. Weeknights on the new Pix Plus. 44 Cable 12.
We have a mix of sun and clouds in the forecast for us today as we gear up for a cold front rolling in early tomorrow morning, starting up in the North Bay just around 6 a.m. So as we time this out, we start to see heavy clouds roll in late tonight, just ahead of that initial cold front. Notice the colors on this map. Yellow and orange indicate some heavy showers building in just in the center of that storm line. It continues to sweep to the south into our lunchtime hours close to San Francisco, all throughout the peninsula, heading down into Santa Cruz and the Santa Clara Valley for that matter. It moves off into the Sacramento Valley, and on the back end of it, we dry up pretty fast. But this is an impactful storm. I mean, we're seeing heavy showers pretty much all morning long. It takes a while for the evening hours to really see drying conditions because there's still some lingering showers on the back end. But once we head into Sunday, this completely dissipates, and we are left with drier conditions for our Sunday setup, while the Sierra is still dealing with some snow at that point. So in total, we're expected to see close to around an inch of rain throughout most of our communities, passing an inch all the way over into areas like Pleasanton. Now up into the Sierra we go. They're going to be under a winter weather advisory until Sunday morning, with wind speeds anywhere up to around 50 miles per hour and plenty of snow to share for all of them around.
They've been called spooky and sinister, but bats actually play a critical role in maintaining a healthy ecosystem in California. However, our warming planet is threatening their populations. In today's Project Earth, researchers are tracking where they take flight to better understand how to help them thrive. Ann Makovic reports.
They sleep during the day, hunt at night, and, well, often terrify people. But there's nothing creepy about what bats do for the environment.
They're not only cute, but they do these amazing roles, like for our ecosystem.
Joseph Curti is a bat biologist at UCLA. He says without bats, life would be far less enjoyable.
We wouldn't have coffee, we wouldn't have chocolate, we wouldn't have tequila without bats. Like, that should be enough.
Over 300 species of fruit depend on bats for pollination. They help disperse seeds, play an essential role in pest control by eating mosquitoes, wasps, and flies, and also reduce the risk of wildfires by gobbling up tree-destroying bark beetles. But for all the good they do, there is trouble ahead. Bats are declining around the world due to loss of habitat, pollution, and extreme weather events caused by climate change.
It's very daunting. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very daunting knowing that there are all these multitudes of factors that are leading to their declines and a general apathy.
Levi Souza is far from apathetic.
It's been very exciting.
Souza is a senior environmental scientist with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. His team is tracking bats by attaching small radio transmitters on them.
This type of technology is really useful in helping us answer questions about how animals might be impacted by climate change and the effects of climate change.
Each red arrow is a transmitter on a hoary bat, the most common bat in California. The technology shows where the bat is traveling and how they're behaving. Chaotic weather patterns can change when bats migrate, and that can impact their habitats and food.
The way animals move is very much dependent on how the climate is behaving.
There are 25 known bat species in California. They provide billions of dollars worth of pest control for state farmers. The hope is to learn more about how to preserve these creatures as the planet continues to warm.
And here's California's official state bat, the pallid bat, found everywhere in California. They're very social bats and found in the deserts, woodlands, and forests. For more information on California bats or how you can protect them by building a bat house, go to kpix.com. Now for a look at some of today's most talked about stories. May the 4th is tomorrow, also known as Star Wars Day, and these corgis put on quite a fashion show in Russia ahead of the celebration. They all dressed up in costumes dedicated to the sci-fi franchise. The event also celebrated the anniversary of Moscow exhibition called In a Galaxy Far, Far Away. And one small town crossing guard in Tennessee is spreading positivity in his community. From birthdays to holidays, Lenzo Thompson dresses up for any special occasion while on duty. The sheriff's office says whether it's hot, cold, or raining, Lenzo is at work with a smile on his face. Lenzo has been a crossing guard for Rutherford County Schools for 2 years. And curiosity got the best of one cat in Utah. It played around in an Amazon box and accidentally got shipped to a different state. A couple says they packed the box to return shoes, but didn't realize their cat was hiding inside. They eventually got a phone call that her microchip was detected 650 miles away near Riverside. The Amazon employee took her under her care until the family could reunite. Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Nicole Zalumis. We'll be right back with your first alert, weather forecast, and a look at your top stories. I'm Nicole Zalumis, and this is The Minute. 2 police officers injured in a shootout in San Jose. One is in critical condition. It happened on San Ignacio Avenue in the Santa Teresa neighborhood. Police say officers were responding to a disturbance last night when the suspect opened fire. The suspect was also shot and injured. Livermore police are searching for a double homicide suspect. Investigators say 30-year-old Johnston Vasquez shot and killed a man and a woman inside a hotel room Saturday. This was at the La Quinta Inn on South Front Road. Police believe Vasquez knew one of the victims. The captain of a boat that caught fire and killed 34 people, including several from the Bay Area, was sentenced to 4 years in prison. The fire happened back in 2019 off the coast of Santa Barbara. It was the deadliest marine disaster in recent U.S. history.
It has been a warm and sunny week for many of us here in the Bay Area, but today we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. Still warm, but cloudy as we gear up for a cold front that's rolling its way in tomorrow. We're going to see showers in the forecast for us tomorrow, heavy rain at times.